Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be making a mirrored side table, and as you can see or hear my voice, I am very excited. First, I'm starting off with these 6 rectangle cardboard pieces that I cut out, and I'm just gluing them together to make my platform. As you can see, some of them are taped together to form a rectangle. I really wanted to just use everything that I could possibly use at home to make this happen, and that's exactly what I did. So this is going to be the base of the table. I'm going to basically finish gluing these cardboard boxes together, and then I'm going to use these pre-cut pieces of cardboard to go around the perimeter of the box. I also added these 1-inch mirror squares around the perimeter. Next, I'll be adding these 4-inch mirrors. One is 4 inches and one is 4 inches by, I believe, 2 inches. And I'm basically going to be adding these on top. I placed the cardboard in the middle to hold the center corners of the mirrors up, if that makes sense. So the base is basically finished for now. Now moving on to the second part of my table. As you can see, I have the circle 2 inches off of the edge so it could have a straight edge. I also could not find my ruler for some reason, but I would not let that stop the show. So basically I made a mark on this piece of paper, and I basically just traced the mark around the circle. So I'm basically just making a mark and connecting each mark to each other to create a circle. Now for this to be able to stand on the platform, I'm going to have to make each end flat. So I'm going to cut around the perimeter with my razor, and it should look like this, and you should have a total of 20 of them. With your leftover circles, you're going to make boomerangs. So we're going to start stacking, and I use these extra boomerang pieces to save me space, so I wouldn't have to cut 40 instead of 40. I was able to just make a total of 20 circles. So with the excess cardboard that I had, I would make the shorter pieces. There's no specific measurement that you need, as long as they fit within, like they're fitting here. As long as they fit within a circle, you're fine. And I'm going to continue to stack until I've done all 20 circles. And as you can see, I use a combination of cardboard and foam board, so it really does not matter. I really just be using stuff around the house, for real, for real. So as you can see, in between each circle are 2 boomerangs and 2 small pieces of cardboard. And let me just say, every cardboard piece that you cut out doesn't have to be perfect, as long as you're creating the shape. As long as you can see the shape, you're fine. Next, I took some cut up cardboard pieces and I took some mirror tape and I covered them to create the side of the table. And I'm just using my hot glue gun to put them down. I've seen a couple of DIYers on YouTube do this technique, so shout out to you guys. So I'm going to cover each side this way, and I'm just going to leave the top bare because you won't be able to see that. Leave the top and the bottom bare. And also, when you're done, as you can see, some of mine are not even. I'm going to cut them to be even. And now that the outside is done, I'm going to move to the inside of the circle and do the exact same thing. This next step isn't really necessary. I used glitter tape to cover the whole top, but after I was done, I realized that I really didn't even need to do all of that. So I'm going to coat the whole top with the glue, and I'm going to make sure it's thick. Don't hold back on this part, just make it thick. As you can see, some of the glue is falling on the side, but that's okay. It's just Elmer's glue. I can wipe that off later. But then I'm going to go and get my glitter. Now this is some recycled glitter that I've had from other projects that I've just swept back up and put back in the can. And so it's a combination of mirror rocks and glitter. So after I'm done pouring the glitter down, I have a dry paintbrush that I'm going to use to push the glitter down into the glue. And after I'm done with this, I'm going to let it dry, and I'm going to move on to the top of my table. So for the top of my table, I'm going to be using this Amazon box. We all have one of those, don't we? And basically, I'm going to be using these two picture, I don't even know what they call it, canvases, small canvases, because my box isn't wide enough for my mirror that I'm going to place on top. I pre-measured my mirror earlier and it went over the side of the box a little bit more, so I'm just adding this extra on. But if you have a box that fits a mirror perfectly, then by all means skip this step. Next, I'm going to be gluing the flaps inside of the box down on both sides. So now that it's secure, I'm going to add another piece of cardboard inside. So I'm going to glue that down. And then I'm going to cut the front of my board. This will be where the drawer will be. But for now, I need access to get inside the box. So I've pre-cut these sides to put inside the box. So I use white to make it look a little presentable, because nobody wants an ugly drawer. And I'm also adding this pre-cut piece that I've made similar to the tabletop with the tinted paper, just to give it a little shine inside. Now that I'm satisfied with the inside of the box, I'm going to go ahead and close the box up. And I've also pre-cut another piece to fit this side. And I've also covered each side with cardboard. And now I can finally add my last piece of cardboard on top to make everything even. I'm going to also add my mirror tape around the perimeter of the box just in case anything shows. And now I'm going to cut the flap off the front of the box. And I'm going to use these two leftover pieces from earlier to put in the front of the box. And when I'm done gluing this part down, I'm going to flip the box over to the side so we can start adding the mirrors onto the sides of the tabletop. After I add my main mirror, I'm going to be adding my 1-inch mirrors to make up the difference on each side. Doing DIYs are all about improvising. If something doesn't fit, make it fit. That's why I use 1-inch mirrors, 1/2-inch mirrors, because at that point, something's gonna work out. So I'm gonna do both sides just like this, and then I'm gonna move on to the top of the box. So I'm gonna use my 1/2-inch mirror squares because I've already measured my mirror that's gonna go on top of my main mirror, and it's like a 1-inch difference. So I'm gonna use 1/2 inches on each side. And now that both sides are done, I'm going to add my very fingerprinted mirror. Remember this piece that we cut off earlier? I'm going to use it now. So I'm just going to close this right on up, and I'm going to add a mirror that fits slightly. Like I said, it doesn't have to fit all the way all the time. We're going to make it work. But now I'm going to also add my hinges that I got from Amazon. A combination of hot glue and E6000. And I'm going to add one to each side. And I'm going to use some more of the glitter tape that I used earlier just to cover the pieces of cardboard that are showing on the side. Now it's time to connect the door to the dresser. I bought this Velcro from the dollar store and I just cut it in half because I didn't feel like I needed the whole thing. So after that is done, I'm going to turn my drawer upside down and I'm going to add my hinges to the bottom of the drawer. I'm going to do this with E6000 and hot glue. After it's done drying, it should look like this. Voila! Alright, now it's time to put everything together. So we're going to start off by connecting the base. I decided to use the 1-inch squares to glue in the front because as you saw earlier, I didn't cover this part yet. I know you didn't get to see me glue the base down, but I just used E6000 and hot glue. Next, I'm going to be adding the drawer, and I'm going to be doing the same method. I'm going to add my school glue, and then I'm going to add my E6000, and I'm going to let this dry overnight. You should be able to tell if you have enough glue or not by placing the top on and taking it off to see if it transferred. I can honestly say I went to the store once for this DIY and it was just to get the 1-inch square mirrors, but everything else I had at home, no lie. I also added a couple square mirrors in the front and that chain just for looks. I challenge you guys to do something similar. Thank you guys for watching, and remember, you can do anything you put your mind to. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.